Hello, Sagittarius. March 2021. Yin and Yang, Sag. March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb, right? In the Northern Hemisphere, we're about to see the bursting of tremendous energy. Mother Nature goes, pow, and goes nuclear, right? It's so amazing. I wonder if you're looking forward to it as much as I am. March 2021, let's see what we have for an inquiry card. Inquiry. What am I hungry for? That sounds appropriate. Okay, we're going to start with the inline. Sag. Sagittarius. Yin. March 2021, please. What is Yin hungry for? And one more. Here we go. Yin. Let's start with the High Priestess. What do you say? Then let's go to Justice. Wow. And finishing with Page of Wands. I saw the Page of Wands while I was shuffling, and I wondered about it showing up. Okay, Yin. Well, it's all about authenticity, your balance. It's all about the part of your nature that wants to discover. It's not necessarily a big fiery agenda. It is more an agenda of question mark. And maybe with this kind of a question, what am I hungry for? You don't really know. You got the energy to get into something, but it's coming to me that there's a bit of an obscurity between you and what it is that where you want to apply your energy. And I can understand that with the kinds of things that have happened to people in 2020. It has set people enough onto a precipice, if you will, where in a sense you're looking down at the whole world, but in another sense, you don't necessarily think that the whole world is available to you. And there's this wonderment about, well, where does my power end? And that's understandable. That is certainly something that can easily be seen to come from a situation where the power of a little tiny virus can control a whole planet, can control the societies on a whole planet. And talk about wanting to make you feel not powerful. That's a way to do it. But how about the High Priestess? I believe that the High Priestess is there to invite you in and to say, your power does not end anywhere differently than it did before COVID-19. Your power is limitless. Where the limitations are driven by your ability to believe that your power is limitless and your ability to go along with this co-creative dynamic between you and the universe. And her mysteries are what's required to tap into how to get that answer, how to broker that dynamic between you and the universe, you and your universe, Yin. So what you're hungry for may be a clue. And I could see how you're probably feeling like perhaps a beginner. You may be someone who is an expert at something or has expertise, is highly qualified, highly educated, and that pill of having to be in the page's shoes for someone like that can be hard to swallow. But you don't have to swallow it. All you have to do is allow it to get into your being however it can. Your job is to be open enough to figure out because the universe will help you to figure out how to allow that energy into your life. This sounds somewhat nebulous, but in fact, it's far from nebulous. A general reading is general, so that I cannot begin to get into your particular nuances, but I do revere and appreciate and embrace that you know for yourself. And if you're hungry, you may not even be hungry. This reading could be far away from you in that respect. That's okay. But for those of you who are hungry and are tuned into what that means to you, you also know where you got to go to get the best out of a page experience as possible. And it may be as simple as to take something along the lines of who you already are and what you already do and change your paradigm, change your viewpoint. Look at it. I used to be with a group of people that would refer to it as looking at something from another angle. And that may be the total task. Bingo. Something so simple. Why didn't I see it? Sometimes the things that are right in front of our faces are what we don't see. They're maybe too obvious. I don't know. But Yin, the big thing is that with the major arcana here, these cards are not addressing you at your base level, your mundane, down in the beginner's mode trenches. It's addressing you at that high level of the major arcana. So you wouldn't be getting those cards if your universe did not think that you were vibrating at that level already. The idea now is that along with growth and with evolution comes bigger challenges, comes in the guise of just a visit to the High Priestess. But for those of you who are evolved and who do know what having been around the block to your level means, it's not going to be foreign territory. You're going to know why that's a big challenge, but you're also going to know why that's an important step. Let's see what we go with Yang. Sagittarius, I know, the Sagittarian people, I know, don't normally travel in that apparently passive world like is being shown in the yin line. That can make you antsy and anxious because you want to move out. You want to shoot your arrows and go find out where they landed, so to speak. That can be the challenge, is to be willing to be active when it doesn't look like it. Active in another type of activity. Active when it doesn't look like it. Yang, what might we see for you? You want to be way back here. 10 of Cups. Love it. Star. Look at you. 4 of Pentacles. I'm trying to, just as a personal challenge, I'm trying to let seep into my being some kind of way to look at this negatively, or with like a warning sign kind of thing, or what does it mean when you might look at a negative aspect of these cards and it's just not coming out. Let's start with the end game, which is this stability. Your forward movement has gotten you to this place where you can operate from a platform of stability. And you may notice that right in this shield in the middle, there is a tiny little phoenix. And that little phoenix wants to be right by your side, in your virtual self. Keep that close, because that empowers you in a couple ways. If you need to rise from the ashes, there's the phoenix right there, if something happens. But on the other hand, knowing that you have that ability to rise from the ashes is huge. It's a way to manage your life energy from such a firm foundation, from such a positive, relaxed place. And rightly so. It looks to me like you have walked into a world where you know what you've been through. You know who you are. Not that that can't change. We always learn new things. But at this point, you know that much about yourself. And then with that kind of a warm and fuzzy feeling internally, you walk right into this completion with the Ten of Cups. I mean, in its simplest form, it could mean that your family dynamic and your family harmony and balance has hit a level like never before. You could have gotten to a new plateau of love energy, a give and take, like you've never had before, but what's more, that is empowering you beyond your wildest dreams. To see how love manifests at a new level, because that's what's waiting right here. How love manifests at a higher level than what you thought it even could. Magic. The magic that can happen when the unforeseen and the uncommon becomes reality, becomes your personal reality, Young. So, always though, when I get into a reading that's, filled with this much supportive energy, and it's making the young Sagittarius in this respect look so embraced and so held up with a warm, comfortable, protected sense of being, my immediate feeling is that you may get an opportunity with this kind of power and this kind of stability to pay it forward. There's a new level for you, a new manifestation of the power of love. If you're a couple, Yang, be ready to support Yin. Not that Yin's not going to know what to do, but to make it so that it's sunny, a sunny day of experience. Good, solid, down in your solar plexus kind of feeling of forward momentum and cruising in your ship, but embraced by the sun, that the sun shines on it. Because that's what you have within you, Yang, to do for Yin. And Yin, likewise, you're going to be able to pay back into, if you're a couple, into Yang, some profound divine feminine energy that'll get the Yang to a place where he, let's call it, has never been. A mutual benefit. Okay, 22 major arcana. $22 numbered angel cards. Selecting 4. Let's have some fun. So what we're going to do here is we're talking about these cards up here. This whole reading, all the details is dwelling within a spiritual biosphere, a place of life, flourishing, but what is influencing it from the divine? And the archetypal energies are the equivalent of planets that are orbiting around this spiritual biosphere, and they are driving the archetypal answer to the question, what is Sagittarius hungry for? And we begin with temperance as the situation. Nice. We go to the obstacle being the devil. We go to the asset being death, the nameless card. And we go to the potential outcome as being the High Priestess. And look at this divinely inspired diagonal connection. High Priestess at the first card and the last card. Think that makes sense? I certainly do. Okay. Well, quickly stating this looks and feels like this. The situation is all about flexibility. And temperance, the reason I refer to that is because of the meaning of the word temper when you apply it to tempered steel, for instance. Why do they temper steel? To make it more flexible, less brittle. And in this case, your steel, Sagittarius, both yin and yang, your inner steel wants to remember to remain flexible, to not be brittle with this operation to get the most out of it. Your obstacle is perhaps a fear factor of walking into your power, but included in your power is your shadow side, your light side and your dark side, right? They're both included. You need to be, in order to be whole, you have to be everything you are. That doesn't mean you have to act upon everything you are, but you certainly need to have it in your basket that is the totality of you. And your you includes your dark side, and you're not going to want to be afraid to go visit, go see the devil, go listen to what your ghosts, the ghosts in your personal closet have to say. They will give you wisdom. And is that not also what the High Priestess does? Give you wisdom? Your asset is knowing death. Knowing the meanings and the applications of the concept of death. Death of something, not your death, your croak, you're going to croak kind of death. Knowing the meanings of the concept, the death of something. So it's obvious that something needs to die in order for the qualities of these details up here in the yin and yang lines to maximize themselves. Something is going to have to die. And what is the key to knowing what that is? Being flexible, being open. It will always allow more in when you are willing to open up. You can open up. I'm not saying open up to places that will hurt you. Please don't do that. I'm saying open up to the limits of your capabilities, though. And if you have limits, just treat them like you do your muscles when you're doing yoga. If you're doing a forward bend and your hamstrings, you hit a place where you say, I can't go any further. At least the way I was taught is to just stay there for a minute, and there's a release, and you can go a little further. And stay there, there's a release, and you can go a little further. And that's the kind of approach I'm saying to go to your limits. Go to your limits, but always be willing to accept that you're capable of more than you may think you are. Now, this divine lady, This is so strong. She needs to, I mean, Yin, the fact that the High Priestess is also in your line, if you're in a relationship, I mean, if these cards relate to a relationship that you're in, you have to accept the mantle of leadership for that effort. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be somehow firmer, somehow more balanced than your counterpart in this respect. And it is all about the outcome. I mean, the potential outcome and where you put yourself on the spectrum of realizing the best of that outcome. But in her basic components, she's so magnificent. She guides us in such a beautiful way to our inner being, to the place where we get to experience things being uncovered that we didn't even know existed. So she goes, well, look at this inside yourself. And you look. And she goes, oh, by the way, it's always been there. And that kind of thing. So there's a childlike sense of wonderment that you can walk into a High Priestess moment with. And I'm saying that is a key fundamental component, a pivot point, if you will, for this entire reading for Sag for the month of March 2021. And maybe a select few of you will go, oh yeah, a visit to the High Priestess? Well, that was what I was hungry for all the time. Hope so. Hope you actually find the answer too. And I thank you for being here. That's going to be it. And I'll see you next month. And until next time, be well. Love you all. Bye for now.